Sergio Studios. Extra.
Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Sergio Dominguez with another animation look through. This time for an episode of the Sergio Show, and it's episode of the Sergio Show number 7 from season 1. Okay, the reason why I want to go through this episode, it's because it's one of my favorite episodes of not only season 1, but one of my favorite episodes of all time. I don't know why. It's just, even back then when I was making, I'm like, I'm really enjoying this, and I've, at that point I was like maybe a year or two into the show, and I was starting to understand what kind of content I was kind of making at the time, and also there were improvements that I did in my animation process and the animation quality, even though there was still a lot of stuff that would need to change and improve over time. But honestly, the whole episode came out really good. It was just, if you listen to the commentary and if you've seen the episode, it really was just a couple of segments and jokes, and they all just came together really well for its simplicity and its fun. So we'll take a look at it right now. But before we do, I don't have the original animation file for this episode. So what I've done with Cartoon Character Meets Cartoon Character and Cartoon Face video, animation look through, is that I took the original video, export it to a sequence of images, low quality images, import them to Toon Boom, and that's how we have it here. The whole episode that you're seeing here is just little individual low quality images put together and played through, because that's the only way I can really show you the whole breakdown frame by frame of the episode without having the original animation files. So with that being said, let's take a look. Yeah, this is not animation related, but I do want to bring up the video quality. If only I understood how to export in HD at the time. But yeah, you can see fuzzy pixels. You can count all the pixels. Count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. And also, pixelation affected the coloring of just the episode. But it was a very obvious experimental time, since I was just 7 episodes in, but I was still learning and thinking what could be fun. But it was still interesting. Now, I noticed certain details, like when I was drawing this hand, I remember, I was like, I need this closed in. How do I close it in? I'll just draw I would just draw just my own flesh colored line onto to this to close off, so I can fill color in the hand. But now I understand the whole close gap paint bucket tool thing. So it is just funny to see certain details like that. But the thing that I've understood was the posing and movement. Like, if you've seen the first episode and even the animation look through of the first episode, I just didn't know what I was doing when it comes to how I wanted the characters to properly pose. For the most part, later on I would understand, but I was trying to get it here, and I think I was getting it. But we're gonna look at some mistakes that I would find out later on. Yeah, like the movement from this to this, it's just so straightforward from here to there. And now we'll just animate it before this pose and this pose. I would try to find a way to just give it a little more character, like have the arm lift then land, And here comes another mistake that I would try to avoid when animating the Sergio character in the puppet animation, and that is here. That's right, blue on blue. But you know what I'm saying. This. The clipping here. The part of the sleeve is sticking out into the head. When I animate it and it gets to this part, I try to do a keyframe where it's off the face and onto the shirt. But that would be a mistake that I would just keep using until later years, when I was like, oh man, this is kind of out of place. But figure out how for that to work. A lot of the drawings have changed, but some of them have just kept the same. Maybe I've improved them a little bit more. Like here, this is still the same pointing up finger drawing. And obviously I changed the head and the eyes. I already did a video talking about the designs of the Sergio character over the years. But yeah, it's still funny to see back then. And just putting it together, the fun of it. I just let Toon Boom deal with the mouth. I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but the mouth right here. This was actually not my mouth drawing. I took a mouth drawing from a pre-existing animation puppet template, copied that mouth shape, put it here, and just altered a little bit to look like it was drawn by me. So it is kind of my style, but later on I would just take away this and replace it with a regular circle. Later on I would add more eye poses, like squinting the eyes right here. But I do like how it's going. It needs more posing. Like right here. There we go. Yep. I was like animating that. That's good. I thought it needed more, like more back, but it's that old boy Shucks kind of pose that I still do to this day. But you can also see, let me see, that the alignment is just off. Not just here, but also here and here. The hand is just off by this much. But I didn't know how to fix it back then, or maybe I didn't care. I was still so happy that I just got the opportunity to animate what I want. And it's episode 7 of my own show. But yeah. Still came off a little bit enjoyable. Could this also be the episode where I introduced that hand? Because that hand obviously is the hand pose that I'm just pointing to you. That's right, you. And the audience out there. But yeah. But you can see more poses. Before it was like static posing and me just not figure out how to make a pose and have it stay still, because sometimes it would just peter off or peter off, I guess. Like the hands from here to here, maybe there could have been more of a pose where the arms lift a little bit, then go back inside the desk. But I was still new to this. But you can still read the movement and what the character's moving and thinking carefully here. But I like that one. It's like, brace yourselves for the next segment. Or this first segment. Or whatever. This stunt. The pixels. I don't think it was me. I think that was the way that it was exported back then and the quality that left these pixels. We're going to see some other loose pixels here, but yeah, it's hard. It's only hard to watch the pixels, the internet lace lines, just the 480, but also exported each frame very low quality. In order to have all these frames into Toon Boom without crashing while I'm skimming through them. But I like this. I like how I think I cut to a next scene when I did this. Yeah, because look, one frame where I pose this, but I think later on I was like, okay, I want to do a shot where I go from here to the brick wall, but I can't do it within this shot, so I got to create a new shot, and boom. Just put this here. You're in a white void. At the time, I didn't want to make a background. It was just all a white void. Oh my gosh. But that sounds about me. Now I would at least make a background. By make a background, I mean I would just take 3 rectangular shapes and color them and just fill it the back. If at the very least, if I didn't want it to be a white void. But I do like the camera movement here. It was like, phew, boom, whoop, ooh, boom. I like the brick wall. The brick wall is really nice. Maybe I should have tried a different kind of color for the cement between the bricks, but it's not bad. You manage to zoom back. There's like a frame. God. Now there's a part in the animation coming up next that really impressed me back then and now, that I could do that just a year into this, because I never made an animation movement like that elaborate, that specific. I like the excited movement here. That's good, actually. But here comes this one. Wow. I was amazed I could do that back then and now. Because I had to get that edge of the cannon and then put one foot in, then the other foot, and then slide down. And it came out very surprisingly smooth for 12 frames per second. In hindsight, maybe I could have added more weight to it. Like when it gets to the foot, maybe there could have been a couple frames of like bounce to have my body set to the new pose and weight. And then when I get to the other foot, maybe there could have been a little bit of a struggle because I'm overweight. So it just, the posing's good. It needed more frames and more weight to it. But the way I slide in is good. Now, also if you can see, a lot of the shots, there's a little bit of clipping. Like there's just a slight line right here. Because I was still trying to figure out how am I going to get inside the cannon. At the time, I didn't know about the mask tool in Toon Boom yet, but I needed to find a way to get him in the cannon, that he went into this darkness. So there's actually two drawings of the cannon. One is the backside of the cannon, and the other one is the other half front, what you see of the cannon, but it's cut off from here, like here, around here, not this wheel, but this wheel. So it is this one cannon, two layers, one behind me and one in front of me. That's how I try to make that kind of effect work. Pew! Yeah, if I had a better tablet and had more that technique that I'm going to show you later, maybe the cannon would have been more expressively drawn than just a poof. But it's still surprisingly good at the time. And I like to say, it's like, oh, there's build up. There's build up. If there's anything I would have improved here, it would have been more movement. There would be like a frame up, frame down of like really shaking movement while flying straight to the brick wall. But for what it is, it came out good. Oh, I like that cheeseburger eating thing. Remember that? That's a funny one. Me talking to my friend Juan. I think let me see. Yes. You see, this swoosh line is over the hand. I think I knew how to like place the hand behind me, but this wasn't set to a background, or this isn't one frame or one thing back behind this, so you can see that. Also, another thing I do want to mention while I'm here, when it came to the character rigging and this arm animation, and it's I would either later rig or reanimate a way where when the hand, this arm, my from what I'm looking at to my left arm, the sleeve should also be there. You don't see the sleeve. It almost looks like he only has one sleeve on his t-shirt the way it looks. So obviously later on I would try to find a way to animate, and you can see a little piece of the sleeve here. So you can be like, oh, he has a short sleeve shirt on. Not a short sleeve, yet one sleeve, short sleeve shirt on, whatever I just said. But there's some good posing here. Like, I like this pose. Maybe it should have been more reclined, but it's pretty good. And the lip sync is really good, even though I have nothing to do with it. That was all Toon Boom. I just, it automatically did it for me 100%. I didn't monitor this at the time and pick my own frames. So it really was a little bit of technical luck that I just made some good mouth poses, and Toon Boom just automatically picked which ones. It always depended on sound waves of the recording. This also was good here because you saw there was some resistance. Like I somehow controlled gravity. Like it wasn't like a sudden stop. There was like some resisting, even though I knew where I was going, both in the episode and me making it. So it worked. It worked really well. And I did, use a fade out effect for those whooshy lines. So it came out really well, and there were some good camera movements here. Yeah, there were some good poses. This one didn't look good. Look, my sleeve was behind me. I think I removed this so so it can still look reclined and not have this part of the sleeve in front of his face. So that's why that looks awkward. Again, this sleeve doesn't pop out, so that's what looks a little off. And also, you don't see the elbows. Like, the elbows are gone. The elbows are gone. But later on, I would have re-rigged the arm so you can see elbow. Like the rounded elbow edge. He's supposed to still be floating, but the way that I posed it, he looks like he's so close to the ground from the brick wall. And that was my mistake. I should have made him more float, or actually add a background where the contact of the ground is. So, meh. And there's another animation mistake. There's a frame where it's... Yeah, you see it appear, disappear, appear, disappear. Oh, and I got hit by a brick wall. Boom! Haha, what a surprise. Boom! Thanks for hurting me, my little sis. She's great. She was a fun sport. Yeah, this came out good too. It's like, oh, I'm stuck under here. Oh, but I think I got the arm hand pose wrong. Because that's supposed to be my right hand, but it's like my left hand. But yeah, that was a long running problem that I had with the hand poses of what direction of the hands. That's okay. Here comes something I really want to talk about too. This flat me. So if you haven't seen my art archive look through of the first 10 years of the show, you might have seen this drawing as just a marker drawing. And I've done a couple of poses. This is Flat Sergio, drawn on paper, inked, then scanned into Toon Boom, along with a couple of other poses that we're going to go through and a line like that, because I wanted to animate myself flat, but also like inflate myself, and I didn't, and it wouldn't work in puppet animation in this case. And it was just a couple of poses me doing this, so I'm going to show you right now this little animation. I'm going to break that down. So I drew this one, just one pose, flat me, the best as possible. I think the outline is too thick. Oof. And this got cut off. It should have been in front of the desk or something, but eh. Oh. I get inflated. Yeah, in hindsight, it needed more drawings because I inflated myself too quickly and I deflated myself too quick. So it's all too quick. Yeah. And you can see a little smudge. I think that was a smudge from the pen that was scanned into Toon Boom that I didn't notice or cared. But it is funny. Look at that. That's just one drawing. I used the tween keyframes to deflate. And then you're going to see back to Puppet Me. Yeah, look at that. Bup, 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 boop, bup. Yeah, I expanded my arms too. Look at that. Yeah, animation. Am I right? You can see what I kind of wanted me to look like that I tried to draw. Yep. Okay, so we're in the other segment of the episode where I fall off of a cliff. And with my sister, there is a background. It's just a blue void. We went from white to blue void. This episode did take a while to make, I do remember. So stuff like that did happen. And the whole cliff and the things you're going to see on the cliff were, for the most part, drawn on paper and scanned in. So it's that technique. Yeah. Oh yeah, that equipment was drawn digitally from my very simple bamboo tablet. Yeah, you can tell when's the next shot by this, you see, with the frame pops. Frame pops and position pops are off by this much. But yeah, I'm working on my poses. Sometimes in animation, you do need to rely on really good posing. Even if it is puppet animation, good posing helps. See, whoop, poof. Where's the contact? Where's the contact? There does need more frames of weight, of course. Ugh, it didn't even make contact. It was just, what? Wait, did somebody kick me? What? What? Ah. Oh. Yeah, you see, more of those like nasty little pixels. Here I am falling. So for this, you see the cliff falling. I was like, okay, how can I make like the side of the cliff look like it's going down when it was a small cliff that I drew? So I think I drew or reworked the cliff. I made it skinny, I made it long through the transform tool, and I just animated, going that direction. But you can easily tell that I shortened the cliff because you can see the lining of the sky here. The sky, so it is like an animation cheat. There's repetition and boom. That was good. As you can see, the rock arm right here. But yeah. Yeah, I think it needed more speed. It needed more speed because it looks like I'm filing so slowly, and the way the impact happened, it was like the reaction was not strong enough, and it wasn't fast enough. Like boom, no, it was slower. No weight, as I just said a couple times before. But I love the gags. I still love the gags. One rock was a punch in the face, and one was a kick to the there. Oh, and here's something I wanted to bring up when it comes to me learning the animation software and stuff. You can see I wanted him to stay still when I got hidden in there, but you can see a little bit of movement. Like there was like a fine movement here. Look, let me put my mouse here. Look, see movement. I think there was a point where I wanted him to at one point fall off, but I didn't put a right keyframe, so there was like a little finite movement. Like, yeah, that movement that shouldn't have happened, but it was so still, and I didn't notice or didn't care, so that's how it happened. Ah, man, if there's a regret I wish I could do, is add a tree branch, that little twig, cracking, because there's no cracking sound when you hear the episode, and I wish I could just do something sound effects wise to have it like slowly break. But the eyes, that's the best I can do when it comes to cartoony reactions at the time with this puppet character. Now it could have just given him his own head and made him look more nervous, but more nervous in this case was just more eyes. And look, again, I drew the arm wrong, the hand wrong. It should have been the other way where the fingers are pointing to the camera, because it looks like I'm holding it the wrong way. Yeah. Because the thumb is in the right position, but the rest of the fist and hands aren't. But I like how the guy came out where, oh, you think it'll fall? No, an even bigger branch log thing. Yeah. This is also a good little piece of animation. Yeah, that was good. I was really understanding posing and stuff. And trying to get like ridiculous animation that I had in mind. But the rock, the way the rock just fell and hit his head, needed better timing. But it was still fun. This one was difficult to do. Yeah, this shot you're about to see where it's just rubber band. Because I want it to be a slingshot, but how do I slingshot this character? And again, coming to the canon thing, there's 4 layers. One part of the slingshot, the other part of the slingshot, the elastic part of the slingshot, and the other side in order to have the other end and that end. But even then, you can see, it kind of worked, but I didn't stretch this far enough. Yeah. And he shoots up, but this thing moves so slow. Yeah, it was just like, yeah, timing, boom, boom, boom. And I took the piece of the cliff and just literally like layered and cycled it. And there was not enough impact. Like I would have done like maybe a drawing of the head getting hit, or at least a frame of it going back. Yeah, more weight. And also, I didn't think I organized the legs properly, like the way they were positioned, but it's fine. Yeah, obviously, I would improve on this and do stuff like this better on later in the series, but I'm glad that this was its start and it was still a fairly good, fun episode. Now, one more thing I want to bring up, very last thing, is this joke coming up where I'm holding on to my sister while she's running away, and the arms would be stretching. Now, I didn't know how to do a proper arm stretch, even in a simplistic way. So the best thing I could have done was do the transform tool and just move it to the left. We'll get to it right now. And see, it's just, yeah, it was like, that's why it looks so distorted. And there's a part where I was animating this part, but then I was like, oh, not far enough. I gotta animate this part. And that's why it looks so weird. It looks like disgustingly stretched out. Nowadays, now I would, now I would have just drawn stretched out arms and keyframe it a little bit better. It would actually look like stretched arms, like drawing wise, instead of stretched arms like keyframe digital wise that you see now. And that's all for this animation look through of episode 7 of the Sergio Show. Yeah, I think it's one of my favorite episodes because it has a lot of great jokes, but there's obviously room for improvement. While I've improved so much within a year and 7 episodes or so, and I enjoy it. I still like rewatching it even now. You know, as you can hear from the commentary, and if you've seen it yourself, if you liked it or not. But yeah, it's nice to really show you parts of the animation even here from an episode that I did like. So I hope you enjoyed this animation look through of episode 7 of the Sergio Show. If you've seen that I've improved over time, if you have thoughts on this episode yourself, I haven't really done episode with segments that often, but we'll see. This was fun, and I hope you had a lot of fun watching this episode and the breakdown of this episode and all that good stuff. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching. I am Sergio Dominguez saying, have an animated day.